Hi, my name is Simone Embacher. I'm from Austria and I live here in Tyrol at the Wilder Kaiser, which is this beautiful mountain just here. And here in the middle of the Tyrolean Alps, I'm breeding Escargot. It wasn't a direct road that took me here. I worked at many different places in many different jobs, and one of these jobs was yachting. And that's why I'm here, I guess, talking to you in this little clip. I want to tell you a little bit what was it that led me here. Growing up in the Tyrolean Alps, it seemed naturally to me to attend the tourism college. And after this 5-year education, I gained a profound knowledge in everything concerning hospitality and tourism. But instead of working in a restaurant or hotel, I moved to Berlin and worked for the following 6 years in movie industry as a location scout, assistant at the set and first AD. This was followed by 1 year as a dive master in Thailand. And whenever I was back in the meantime, in between, back in Austria, and being surrounded by all this beautiful wine that we produce here in Austria, I intensified my passion for wine and I joined a training, a 1-year training, after which I hold the diploma of wine sommelier. And looking back from here, I guess that all these educations, trainings, experiences that I joined the last 15 years, talking from 1995 to 2009, and paired with my passion for traveling, discovering new places and never stop learning new stuff, I think it just led me to yachting industry. And so I ended up in 2009 being offered a job on a super yacht as a chief stewardess. I remember perfectly stepping aboard the very first time. It just blew up my mind. I mean, I've seen so many 5-star hotels, leading hotels of the world, Royal and Chateau hotels, but this was just without comparison. I mean, 6 crew for 10 guests. What? So yeah, I loved it, really. This was a great time. We did 1 season in Singapore and Thailand, and we did another season in the Med. I was used to doing a 5-star service, but this was just not from this world. I mean, all this luxury, these harbors, these sparkling harbors, this lifestyle, the dog parties, being able to step aboard of Maltese Falcon, for example. I mean, this was just having these opportunities, working with the best products you could imagine. This was a really, really great experience for me. And I mean, not talking about the salary, this was just never anything similar. And the dog parties, of course, I miss them a lot. But yeah, it was a great, great world. But at the end, it was not mine, I decided. So with my partner at that time, we moved to the Caribbean and worked the next 3 years on sailing catamarans, which was so much more my life. I was there, I had really the opportunity then to draw on all my resources. So I was chef, I was waitress, I was diploma sommelier, I was dive master, I was entertainer, I was crew to my captain, and I was host at the end. So, and yeah, that was really, I guess, that was the dream job. That was it. Yeah, definitely. After these 4 years, I returned back to Austria and helped my sister running the family business, which was a small but growing wine shop, restaurant, deli shop. And with our 10 employees, we tried every now and then to get the time to visit with our chef food ferries. And I love these places because you got introduced to new products, new stuff, new ways to prepare. I was always excited about this. So visiting these food ferries, we always stumbled over the word future food. So I was curious and I started to research about what is future food and why do we need it. And therefore I had to understand first the following, which I learned on my research. The global population increased 7-fold in the last 200 years. That's why today on half of the habitable land area is practiced agriculture. 80% again of this land area is used for animal-based agriculture. So for animals and their food. 200 years ago, human beings and livestock covered only 10% of the mammals worldwide. Today it is 96%, 4% left for wild animals. So looking at this dimension, it becomes pretty clear that for climate change, agriculture has to contribute. So what is future food? Future food is nutrition that doesn't burden our nature. There are many different ways to produce future food, many different ways, many different options and possibilities, which is maybe too big of a chapter and maybe for another time. But I want to tell you today the start of me breeding escargot and why escargot is a future food. So infected by these first informations about future food, I couldn't stop learning more about this. And I started reading and researching in all the newspapers, in magazines, in internet. And I found out that the snail, Helix pomatia, was very, very popular all over the world for her high protein source and as a delicious food. In Austria, it had its peak season already in the Middle Ages with an own snail market downtown in Vienna. And it's also very interesting that it was popular in all social classes. It was food for the poor that had only to collect it in the forest. It was a protein source in the monasteries during the fasting periods. And it was also très chic to eat it at the courts. But as our local escargot, the Helix pomatia, takes 3 years to fertile, and course through annual collection, the population dropped. And in danger of being extinct, it got under protection since 1970s. So it's not allowed anymore to collect the escargot in the wild nature. As an escargot breeder, it's my strive to make this high quality food that doesn't harm nature and climate accessible to everybody who appreciates it. And what makes escargot to future food? Well, it needs much less of everything that common factory farming needs. It needs, in fact, 80% less of everything. So 80% less food, less water, less land. And escargot does not leave a carbon footprint. So yeah, the decision was made, I am breeding snails. But of course it was not easy at the beginning, you know. I was thinking a lot at that time because it meant leaving a really secure job with a monthly salary, fixed salary, for something I had no idea where it would lead me to. But it was too late, my decision was already made. I wanted to become the first escargot breeder in the Tyrolean Alps. But there was a problem. I lived in a small rented apartment, and there was no space for 100,000 snails, as you can imagine. So I was looking for a partner who was willing to jump on my little boat. And I found my partner in the husband of my cousin. They took over the farmhouse of my grandparents, and it really feels like the circle is closing because I spent so much happy childhood time up these hills. I was playing with my cousins, with my friends and relatives. And now I'm here again, having the opportunity to run our little escargot business here. And it really feels like coming home. I'm super happy. So let's talk about the first steps. How did we start really with the escargot breeding? So first of all, I participated at a snail breeding course in Vienna, which was a 3-day course, and they showed you like the basics. So you had a rough idea of how it could work. Meanwhile, my partner built the first 2 little cages that we had. And then we bought our first 1,500 snails. Very exciting time. I spent so much time here, much more than initially thought. But it was just not only beautiful, it was also necessary to observe them, to watch them, to learn from them, to study them. And time is no issue when you're breeding snails. It's a very good spend time. It's almost like meditating. It calms you down for sure, no matter what your day was like. Elmar, where I live, is a small village. And if you start a crazy idea, a crazy business like this, you can be sure that everybody knows. The feedback and the interest that we received from our surroundings and from the restaurants in the area was very impressive to us. Yeah, it was really, really, really cool. And we got also a lot of inquiries from restaurants who wanted our Kaiserschnecke on their menu. But in the first year we delivered only to 6 restaurants for 2 reasons. First of all, I really wanted to be sure to grow slowly for quality reasons, to be able to control the quality. And the second reason was that we needed to make sure that we were able to deliver through 1 year, so until the next harvest. So 6 restaurants was just fine for the first year. I totally love to see what the chefs do with our Kaiserschnecke. So they are so creative and innovative, and they take this old product from this old local product and they give it a whole new face. They put it on a stage and let it shine with new interpretations and new recipes. That's really great. And of course it's my job to try it, you know. So that's awesome. And also myself, I love to make experiments and to create new recipes around the Kaiserschnecke, and also to experiment with the products out of the Escargot. So right now these days I'm trying to find a new way, a better way to conserve the Escargot caviar, our Kaiser pearls, which is a fantastic product. I've never tried anything similar to that before. It's so different to fish caviar. Snail caviar, it's much crispier, and once you cracked it open in your mouth, you have the whole palate full of flavors and scents of the forest. It's really, really cool, and it's a super accessoire for all the autumn dishes that are coming right now. We were also very lucky with Kaiserschnecke that during the first year we attracted a lot of attention of the public. So we had already 2 appearances in national TV shows and several articles in local magazines. So of course that helped a lot too, yeah. And the demand for Kaiserschnecke even increased. So yeah, this encouraged us to invest in our little company. And we built 2 more bigger fenced areas, and we are very happy to say that our breeding stock from the first year to now increased multiple times. Yeah, so we are looking forward to a great harvest 2020. It's going very well, I'm happy to say. Yeah. It's of course much more work than we thought initially, and it's a lot of learning by doing and learning by making mistakes, because I couldn't find any useful YouTube tutorials how to breed snails. So yeah, you have to try yourself, and I promise you the most mistakes you do only once. Yeah. Yeah, giving up is sometimes seems to be an easy solution sometimes, but it was never really an option. So stand up, try again, try it different, and maybe it's better. Yeah, and so far I think we are at a point where almost everything is like it should be. The snails stay in their fenced areas, which was not always. I protected them against the birds, which were a real pain in springtime especially. I tried and created a better broth than the first year, even better broth. It was already good in the first year, but it's even better now. To boil the escargots in it. I have running water here at the farm. I have electricity here. I have a little hut, and I have even a fridge inside, which helps cooling vegetables, of course, and drinks. And yeah, everything runs a little smoother than the first year, and that's cool. Yeah, I still don't have time to use the hammock which is here around the corner, but hey, I'm not removing it. It stays, and one day I will be lying in there and I will enjoy the feeling of all the work is done, you know. And But until then, I keep on working on the farm and breeding the snails, cooking them, feeding them, the other way around. I'm doing what I'm doing, and yeah, I hope to see you. I hope that I could give you a little idea of my story, of my life here with breeding the snails. If you're interested in more, just write me a text, write me a mail. Have a look on Instagram or Facebook. We are there with lots of pictures where you can get more ideas and more impressions of our life here. And I hope I could encourage you a little to, if you have an idea, and even if it sounds super stupid at the beginning, it's maybe not. Just try it and I say, Picasso actually said, I think, as soon as you can imagine it, it's real. So have a good day. Thank you for listening.